Hello and welcome to DTV, your source for news and information about the Knox County Democratic Party. I'm Michael Davis, and I'll be your host for today's program with Elizabeth Rowland, candidate for Tennessee House of Representatives, District 16. For the past year, Republican Bill Dunn, who has held the seat in District 16 for 26 years, decided not to seek re-election, therefore opening the race up to a wide open field. This seat could be a major flip for a Democrat, and Elizabeth is the Democratic candidate hoping to win this seat in November. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here with us today, and welcome to DTV.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
We're excited to interview with you. No secret, you and I have worked together on various committees and within the Democratic Party in the past. So it's a pleasure to interview you here today at the very beginning of your campaign. Again, I was very happy to know that you were running for this seat in District 16, and I think they will be lucky to have you. So very interested to hear more about your campaign, which couldn't be starting at a better time, right? So I'm sure this has presented some unique challenges outside the ordinary ones. So tell us a little bit about how it's going so far.
Well, as a young girl, I always thought, I want to grow up and run for office in the middle of a pandemic.
Doesn't everyone? Yeah.
No, but more seriously, I grew up talking politics around the dinner table with my family, and my parents taught me that politics and leadership is about listening and working with others to identify problems, come up with solutions together, and then implement those solutions to make our community a better place. And to me, that's what politics is about. That's what leadership is about. And that's a big reason why I want to run for State House District 16. I'm excited to work with people in the district to help make our community a better place.
Great. So you have a very unique professional experience that you bring as qualification for this office. So tell us a little bit about your international business and cultural experience, especially your role with the Tennessee China Network.
Sure. Well, I moved to China in 2017. I saw that China was a rising economic power and that our world economy was globalizing rapidly. And I wanted to understand the impact of China on our state and on our country. And so I decided to go to China to learn Mandarin Chinese. And I ended up getting a graduate degree in China Studies and International Economics. And I worked as a policy analyst in China, helping US companies that do business in China to advocate for a level playing field there. And so from the beginning of my China career, it's been really focused on how to make the US and how to make Tennessee a more competitive place in the global economy. And I'm excited to run for office now to implement some of the things that I've learned in that process and help bring jobs home and to help Tennessee businesses and workers be competitive.
Okay. Just on that note, in your experiences living there and working there, what are some of the similarities you see between people in Tennessee and people in various areas of China?
Actually, a lot of China really resembles Tennessee. Mm-hmm. In a lot of places, there's the rolling hills and tree-covered hills like there are here. So a lot of the people that I know from China that live in East Tennessee came here because it reminds them of home. And I think that there are a lot of commonalities between people all over the world. And it's about being open to listening and to understanding other people's perspectives. And we don't have to agree all the time, but we can be open to listening so that we can find common ground. And I think that's true locally. I think that's true internationally. And I believe that is a key aspect of being a leader as well.
Okay. So bringing it back down to the hyper-local level, tell us about the 16th House District. Where is it, and what can you tell us about the people that live there and some of the issues that they face?
Sure. District 16 is comprised of several different communities. I'm in Fountain City, so it has part of Fountain City. We've got Powell, Halls, High School, part of Inskip, and a variety of other neighborhoods around there. So basically North Knoxville above 640.
Okay. And go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot to answer the second half of your question about the people. The district, it includes part of the city and also part of the county. And the folks in the county tend to vote a little bit more conservative, and the part in the city tends to vote a little more progressive. And I think over the years, though, that dynamic is slowly evolving. And I plan to focus on kitchen table type issues, pragmatic issues that families care about day to day. And I'm not as interested in focusing on lightning rod issues, because I don't think that's what people in the district care as much about. It's about getting things done to make our community a better place.
What are some of the ways that you believe that you can unite those people that may be a little more varied in your district than some of the more urban areas in Knox County, to unite them for consensus in order to go to Nashville and get things done on a legislative level?
Mm-hmm. I think a first step is to reach out to the various groups and leaders and individuals on any given issue to learn what are their priorities, what angle are they coming in at, and then try to look at where the various priorities overlap and find that common ground, and then find what constituencies need to be connected with to build a coalition around that. And that's the first step. And that's being done in some areas that we didn't think were possible, like Medicaid expansion. Our own Senator Briggs here in Knoxville is working with Senator Jeff Yarborough to have a Medicaid expansion bill that they're reintroducing. And now in this COVID situation, hopefully we can see that actually get passed. And I think as calculations evolve and change, we can see that bipartisanship can actually work.
Right. Well, hopefully that will play out for you if in the eventuality that you're elected. So you bring up the COVID-19 pandemic. If we've seen anything from the crisis, that the world is a lot more connected than some may realize, and that our balance of functioning is a little more fragile than we may have thought. How does your unique international experience give you insight into how our state will function in the global economy and the world culture?
Sure. Well, when we're talking about COVID-19 in China, I lived in China. I have resources and contacts that I can access that other candidates don't. And when we're talking about, for example, economic competitiveness of Tennessee and District 16, especially economic competitiveness vis-a-vis China, I actually founded an entire nonprofit for that. Tennessee China Network. The mission of the organization is to boost exports and attract Chinese investment to create jobs here in Tennessee and make Tennessee a more competitive place. If we're talking about education and workforce development, through Tennessee China Network and other jobs that I've had, I've worked side by side with businesses that are struggling with retaining and finding workers. And I've worked with labor union members and other community members and workers that are struggling to make ends meet. And so because of wages being low or not having the proper education and training. So with all of these issues about Tennessee being competitive on the global scale, educating our workers and our students, and protecting our country and our state from COVID, my China experience is all very directly tied to that. And I think that's an asset that other candidates don't have.
Okay. So there's a lot that we're seeing right now that ranges into so many things. You mentioned Medicaid expansion, education, just where exactly to focus our efforts. We've just had news this past week that the governor's voucher program has been blocked by a Davidson County judge. Very interesting development in that plan there. There's a lot of ways to look at some of these major issues coming up that we will be facing over the next year. Do you see that compromise is the way to go with this, or is this a time for bold idealism in the months ahead?
I think that our state needs both. I think that we need bold ideas to help set an end target and a ambitious goal. And we need compromise, and we need pragmatism to actually start making incremental progress towards getting those things done. So to me, you need both to accomplish goals in Tennessee, especially considering how conservative the legislature is.
Hmm. You see any particular challenges about getting about building consensus with other legislators that may be across the aisle from you?
I have been used to working with business people and others that I don't even know what their political affiliation is through my various jobs in my 20-year career. I'm very used to working with people from all stripes that have all different kinds of opinions. I listen and I respect their opinions and try to find common ground. So I think that working with the other side of the aisle will actually be something that will be something I excel at. And so I actually look forward to that part of it. I think it'll be an interesting challenge.
Okay, great. Well, one very important thing we want to let voters know is how they can find out more about your campaign or even volunteer to help with your efforts.
Sure. Well, our website is www.voteelizabethrowland.com. We're on the various social media. You can email us at info@voteelizabethrowland.com. We'd love to have volunteers. And I also want to remind everyone to go out and vote and to tell all of your friends to vote. This is a once in a generation election opportunity, not only for this district, considering that it's an open seat, and considering that we will hopefully have a big Democratic wave this fall, but for up and down the ticket, we need to support Democrats and turn this part of Tennessee a little bit bluer.
Right. And I believe that you just completed a campaign video. Would that be available on your website for voters to view as well?
Yes, that's on the website. You can scroll down a little bit and see it on there. You can also see it on YouTube, Facebook, and it's pinned at the top of our Facebook page.
All right, fantastic. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate you doing this with us here in the middle of the continued COVID-19 pandemic, which is why we're doing this interview via Zoom. But thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this with us today. Anything else that you'd like our voters to know about yourself or hear about your campaign before we wrap up?
Public service is in my DNA, and I look forward to working with people in the 16th district to make our community a better place and to work across the aisle to get things done.
Okay. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you to all of our viewers for watching DTV, especially during these different times and different formats. We hope to be back in the studio in our normal sort of setup, and we definitely hope that candidates like Elizabeth and their volunteers can get out to be talking to people face to face at a safe time in the future. Stress that safe time in the future. But Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here with us today. Best luck on your campaign for State House of Representatives for District 16. And we will see you next time on DTV. I'm Michael Davis. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.